Russian President Vladimir Putin says he doesn't want a war in Ukraine and is willing to negotiate an end to the crisis there. Russian officials say they've even started withdrawing troops from the region. The White House has greeted those claims with skepticism.
We are joined by Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor live in D.C. this morning. Jesse, good morning. President Biden addressing the nation yesterday. What is he saying?
Yeah, good morning to you both as well. President Biden was essentially calling Russia's bluff here. He said that the U.S. has not seen any evidence yet of any sort of troop withdrawal along Ukraine's border, and that's the same message that we've been hearing from other Western leaders as well. President Biden even increased the amount of troops projected to be along the border and in other areas of the region from 130,000 to 150,000. Despite all of this, though, he did also portray a message that he wants diplomacy above anything else. And like you mentioned, Putin has said himself that he is open to more negotiations, but the only thing that they can kind of agree on when it comes to negotiations is talking about security in Europe as a whole. A lot of the things that President Putin has been asking for, especially making sure that Ukraine can't join NATO, are non-starters for the U.S. and its allies still.
And Jesse, what can you tell us about the latest cyber attack in Ukraine?
What we've been able to learn is that a series of cyber attacks hit websites throughout the country, including Ukraine's army, the defense ministry, and several major banks there. But the latest from the White House is Press Secretary Jen Psaki was saying that the U.S. has yet to determine exactly who was behind that.
All right, Jesse, thank you. And like she just said, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said he wants NATO to stop its expansion into Eastern Europe. He says the growth of the alliance poses a threat to Russia's national security.
Well, here at home, happening today, 2 medical teams from the U.S. Air Force are helping staff at Strong Memorial Hospital.
They arrived over the weekend, and today we're expecting to hear from hospital leaders about the additional help. Erica Koss joins us in the newsroom with more. Erica.
Good morning. That's right. 2 military medical teams from the U.S. Department of Defense have arrived, consisting of physicians, surgical nurses, and respiratory therapists. We saw medical teams deployed to a county nursing home a few months ago to assist in aid duties, but these crews will specifically assist in medical, surgical, alternative level care. Leaders say the help is also needed to boost morale. We may be on the upswing for Omicron, but the hospital says it's still a time of need.
That number is going down, but it's going to take a while to have that number get down into the double or single digit. We really need registered nurses, respiratory therapists, and the licensed professionals.
The crews will be here for 30 days. They've been going through training all week. And again, we're expecting to learn more specifics later today. In the newsroom, Erica Koss, News 8.
All right, Erica, thank you so much. The governor has sent FEMA teams to hospitals in the Buffalo and Syracuse areas as well.
Let's get a look at the latest numbers this morning. New cases in Monroe County are declining. 189 new cases reported during an update yesterday. Health officials say new hospitalization data will be released later today as well.
Congressman Joe Morelle is calling for additional funding to help the local restaurant industry. The Restaurant Revitalization Fund was initially granted billions of dollars in funding last year, but Morelle says that money is running out. He is calling for additional funding to help struggling restaurants during the pandemic.
They're not important simply for the services they provide, although these are critically important to local customers, but also for the many local workers that they employ, families that need a paycheck, particularly in these difficult times, now more than ever. But sadly, restaurants have been among the hardest hit small businesses in the country as a result of the COVID-19 crisis, and many have struggled to keep their doors open.
Under the American Rescue Plan, restaurants in the U.S. were granted over $28 billion through the Federal Revitalization Fund. Congressman Morelle is calling for an additional $60 billion.
All right, James Gilbert, folks who want to head out the door at this hour and maybe take a walk or a jog or walk the pet, hey, not too bad.
Yeah.
Already getting close to 32 there, that magic number.
Already past the past several mornings. We've been talking single digits. We've been frigid, really, Sunday, Monday, yesterday. This morning, we like it, mid-20s, and we will cruise into the 30s, 40s, and eventually around 50 this afternoon. You see those two squiggly lines? That means it's windy. That is our sign for windy. So it is breezy likely throughout this afternoon, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts certainly. Then the rain showers arrive as we get into overnight and into your Thursday. Even a flood threat for the region. We'll talk about that. And a last look at the bus stop forecast coming up at the end of the show. Mark?
James, thank you. Another check of the roads with our sunrise traffic now. We mentioned that vehicle fire in Rochester, Clinton Avenue at Bastion Street and Route 104. The right lane closed heading east on the thruway at this hour between exits 44 and 45, not too far from Victor. It's a result of that tractor trailer fire we told you about earlier in the show. 390, 490, 590, all up to speed at last check. In other news this morning, Rochester police making an arrest in connection with a fatal shooting from November.
Officers responded to West Avenue just before midnight on November 12th for the report of a person shot. They found a man in his 30s suffering from life-threatening gunshot wounds who eventually did survive. Police also located a second victim, 39-year-old Stephen Morris, shot and killed inside the vehicle on Day Place in the city. Investigators say Morris was an innocent bystander who was trying to leave the scene of the shooting on West Avenue when he was shot. Police have arrested 42-year-old Corey Fajan in connection with both shootings. He has been charged with second-degree murder and criminal possession of a weapon. He is due back in court to be arraigned later this morning.
A 34-year-old man is recovering after a shooting on Pardee Street, the same area of that homicide Monday night. Police responded to the area around 2:30 in the afternoon and found evidence of a shooting but no victim. Investigators say that 34-year-old was taken to the hospital in a private vehicle with non-life-threatening injuries. There are no suspects in custody. Police do not know if this shooting is connected to the homicide from Monday. Anyone with information should call 911.
And with 6 homicides this year already, police fear we could see another record-setting year for murders in Rochester after 81 last year. Local leaders are trying to put an end to the violence by addressing root causes and creating new outreach programs. Educators in the city are also trying to give students the tools necessary to resolve conflicts without picking up a weapon.
District is really, trying to support the needs of our students and having an approach that welcomes social emotional learning and realizing that you have to seek to understand and then support. You have to teach the heart before you can teach the mind.
Police have identified Monday's homicide victim as 18-year-old Daquan Williams. Police believe the shooting is likely connected to drug sales out of 2 houses on Pardee Street. No suspects are in custody.
A new step is being taken by Rochester Mayor Malik Evans to address the condition of housing in the city. The Housing Quality Task Force will look to improve access to quality housing for renters and homeowners. Mayor Evans says the group is especially important in areas of the city with high poverty rates. The task force is expected to release an official report about housing options in about 3 months.
A historic settlement has been reached as a gun manufacturer is being held liable for a mass shooting. Nearly 10 years ago, after 20 first graders and 6 educators were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut, the families of 9 victims have reached a $73 million settlement with Remington, the rifle brand used in the attack. Attorneys representing the families were able to navigate around a federal law designed to protect gun companies by arguing Remington chose profit over safety and deliberately marketed the AR-15 to troubled young men. Back in December of 2012, 20-year-old Adam Lanza entered the school, killing 20 students and 6 staff members before taking his own life.
Well, here's what some folks will be talking about at the water cooler this morning. After 3 years without a host, this year's Academy Awards will have 3. Regina Hall, Amy Schumer, and Wanda Sykes. It is the first time hosting the Oscars for all 3 women, and the first time in more than 30 years there will be 3 hosts of the show. The 94th Academy Awards are coming up on March 27th.
That will be fun to watch, definitely.
The more the merrier, right?
Yes, absolutely. Our weather kind of fun to watch too today, James.
Yeah,
I would say.
Certainly. I think you may be able to get away without the heavy jacket. Maybe something just a little bit lighter as we start off warm in the mid-20s, then cruising into the 40s. That's the return home for the bus stop. A lot of us hitting 50 degrees this afternoon. Sunrise officially at 7:07. 8-day forecast. The rain showers move in overnight into Thursday, transition over to snow showers as we get into Friday. Could see a couple inches there as we head into what should be likely a cool weekend. A couple of days left for the kids before their long break. I remember in high school, a lot of tests over the next couple of days for those high schoolers.
All right, James, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us here on News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.